Hey everybody, good whatever morning or afternoon or evening or late night, or it might be Taco Bell at 2:00 in the morning that you're listening to a packaging podcast. And if so, then I just need to tell you, you need to get your life together. So you can call me and I'll help you out with that. But this is a really fun episode. I'm joined by my friend Kirk Visola from Mind the Font and also Kirk and Kurt's podcast. He's a famous packaging designer, and then two other people, Rich and Wyatt. Rich is a producer from the show you watched on Netflix, and Wyatt is an actor from that one show you may have seen at some time in your life. And they have a really cool product that we're going to talk about called Lake Hour that they recently come out with. And just real quick, so we had a pre-call, myself did with Wyatt and Rich, and I just go from meeting to meeting during my day, and I found out that both of these gentlemen are slightly more well-known in the world than myself for my packaging podcast and Kirk for his. So happy to be joined by Rich Peete and Wyatt Russell to talk about Lake Hour, amongst other things, along with Kirk. Thanks everybody for coming on.
Thanks for having us. How's it going?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's going great. I mean, the Wyatt, the most important thing I think is that the Broncos pulled out a miraculous victory over.
Don't talk too loud about that, because my partner on the other side of the screen is the world's biggest Bills fan.
Oh no! Well,
it was great those 4 years you went to the Super Bowl. You guys
really,
wow,
really accomplished a special feat.
A lot of heartbreak up here in Western New York. This is a tough week.
Shots fired. I could have worn my Anchor Bar hoodie that I went to the Anchor Bar in Buffalo. And I sat down, and this guy looks at me, and he's like, "You are sitting in the exact seat where the first Wild Wing was served." And I was like, "Okay, all right, I should commemorate this with a shirt or something." I don't know.
Yeah. Did you get one of those?
I thought you were going to say that
hats?
The what?
Yeah, the wing hats.
Wing hats.
I did not. I bought a hoodie and had actually a really fascinating conversation with this gentleman for about an hour. Him and his sister, they were in their 70s, and I got all sorts of history about Buffalo. So it was a perfect experience.
It's a great waste of time.
Yeah. It felt good.
I thought you were going to say he recognized you. He's like, "Wait, Adam from People of Packaging?"
This has happened to me like twice in my life. I was at a restaurant in Colorado Springs, and someone with my family, and they were like, "Are you Adam Peake from LinkedIn?" And I was like, "Well, as a matter of fact, I am. Do you need an autograph, or what are you looking for?" No. I work for a packaging manufacturer in New Mexico. I was like, "Okay." Cool. So I have
on social media that Wyatt uses.
What's that?
Yeah, LinkedIn is the only social media that I use. I don't have social media. It's just like, I don't know. I preferred it to be like actually my friends and family. I didn't really care to do it publicly. I'm sure I've lost lots of money, but I don't care. It makes my life a lot easier. But then when we started doing Lake Hour, I was like, well, I don't know, I should really have some social media. And then I remember a friend kept telling me, like, you gotta get LinkedIn. You gotta get LinkedIn. I was like, LinkedIn? What the fuck is LinkedIn? Like, what? I'm an actor. Why would I ever need LinkedIn? And then I was like, wait, maybe I should get LinkedIn for Lake Hour. And then I've started on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, but it is an incredible tool. Like, it's unbelievable the amount of people that I've reached out and been like, "Hi, my name is Wyatt Russell. I'm an actor and I'm an idiot. And if you'd like to, talk about Lake Hour," like, and people, they respond. They like, it's a platform people use. And so I've become like very active on LinkedIn.
Wyatt's lying. He writes these notes and says, "Do you know who I am? I am Wyatt."
Right. Yeah. Like, Steven Spielberg doesn't have a LinkedIn, but when he does, he's sliding into his LinkedIn DM.
Yeah.
He's gonna be famous then. He's gonna really, really make it when he gets his LinkedIn account.
Yeah.
I am relatively LinkedIn famous, which is not saying a whole lot, but I do get to do super cool things like I'm going to meet with the United Nations in 2 weeks in Dubai, talk about climate change. So I'm like, thank you, LinkedIn, for paying off and helping me do some rad stuff and
That's
talk to cool people. And Kirk and I met a little bit on LinkedIn, and then also just our paths crossed while we were. I was at another company, and Kirk designs packaging. And
LinkedIn
anyway,
great. It actually helps. It actually helps as we're like this whole podcast is going to become on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's sponsored by.
Sponsored by.
They can give me money if they want to.
Actually, the format, like, it's not about like liking, not liking. Like, it's not a binary format. It's literally about like, here, help me get this done. I can help you get that done. Like, it's actually a very helpful social media like platform. It's the only one that's any good in my opinion. But
Wow.
yeah.
I love it.
What's LinkedIn paying you?
Yeah, right. Did the check clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so would love to hear kind of the story. When I was telling my wife about recording this podcast, I was like, yeah, Wyatt's going to be on Kimmel, and then he's going to come on this packaging podcast, and I was like, wait, why in the world why do they need to promote Lake Hour on my packaging podcast? But it's cool to be able to talk about the packaging and kind of talk about your journey and share it with a whole bunch of packaging nerds who really do love this kind of stuff. And so it's a really fascinating story that I would love to hear about how you both got together and decided to start this brand. So we could start there, or you could each introduce yourselves as better than, what did we say? The actor from the one show you've seen and the producer for the show you watched on Netflix.
All right. Well, it started in 1986. I was born in Los Angeles at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. We can, and then
we don't have to go that far back. You can.
Yeah. Then fast forward to 2023.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Here we are.
And we went on a family vacation to a place called Carpinteria, about 2 hours, an hour and a half north of where I live. Rich and his family came down from New York, and our wives are best friends. And they had always said, like, you guys should meet, like, you guys should be best friends, like, you guys love each other. And we were like, I got a lot of friends, like, I don't need any more friends. Sure, he's a great guy. And I think we the same. It was both like, we felt that way. And then we got into a hot tub and started smoking cigarettes and drinking. Do
we need to play the music? Cue the music now.
Yeah. And Rich, take it away.
Yeah, we were, both new dads and drinking IPAs and feeling a little like our dad bods approaching, and we were trying all these other like canned cocktails. I had just recently moved back to a lake in Western New York, and had some buds that were drinking some of the other like RTDs and hard seltzers and that were on the market, and I just felt like they all tasted overly sugary and sweet and were black cherry, lemon lime, like flavors that I didn't connect with. And all of the cans just felt like they all looked the same. All of the packaging were these like slim cans that all just felt so similar. In my day job, I do a lot of commercials, and I'm making content for other companies. So Wyatt and I were joking around in the hot tub about starting our own. We had tasted one that was like pretty good, and we're like, okay, this one's successful. Like if we can come up with some flavors that are okay, but really just make it look fucking awesome, then sorry, can I curse?
No.
Yeah, I get asked a lot. I'm as the only ordained Southern Baptist here. I do, which is true. I am. I give you full permission. There's actually cuss words in the Bible, but that's a whole other conversation. We won't.
Okay.
We won't get into when the Apostle Paul cusses and uses the word shit, but it did happen. Anyway,
like, I can go back. But
you can carry on. That's fine.
Yeah, we're like, if we just make a can make a drink that tastes pretty good, but looks incredible, then that's a home run. Like we'll make a drink that is drinkable but looks great, and like people like us, like new dads, dudes in their 30s and 40s will want to drink it, and
and Rich goes like, literally we're in the hot tub, and Rich goes like, what if we did it like Rich lives on a lake. I grew up on lakes. I think we were talking about like our time growing up on lakes and like funny stories and stuff that we had done, and how like it really does shape you and who you become, because lake culture is this very like Americana. Every country has its own version of lake culture, but American lake culture is sort of this ubiquitous, like, there's lakes in every state. Like there's more lakes than there's, ocean front. And so it was like, you just batting it around. Rich goes like, well, what if we did one called like around lakes called like Lake Hour? And I was like, that's a fucking great idea. I was like, I'm in. Yes. I was like, let's do it. We're wasted. And like, just like, yeah, sure. Let's start a company. But we could talk. We're talking about it. We were like jacking each other up. We were jacking each other off.
Hey, what you guys? That's what I said. Cute. You got in the
We were
hot
going to
tub.
talk about that.
You got in the hot tub. Some drinks crossed.
Jacking each other up. Like this is.
I
was
lost
like,
control of this
off on this podcast.
We were jacking each other off. We came off with Lake Hour. And we were getting each other all excited. There's no good way to say it. And it was like, okay, and we leave, and our families, like, we go to our respective ways. And then Rich calls me up in December while I'm doing Godzilla, and he goes, I'm really serious about doing this. Like, do you want to do it? And I remember where I was sitting on this bed on my bed of this place that I'd rented, and I was like, yes. Like I'm in. Like, what does it take? What does it do? And he had mocked up like a little budget of what it was going to cost, which we fucking blew through in about like 7 minutes. But it was just the beginning of like, are you going to take this? There's a precipice. You're standing at the precipice of a canyon, and it was like, I'm in. I'm 100% in. If I'm going to do anything in my life, I've never promoted a product. I've never gone on commercials. I've never promoted anything. Been asked to, just don't care to, because I don't have any connection to a product, and then I can't go sell something I just not in my DNA. I just don't want to do it. So this was something where I said to myself, like, I can put myself fully into this and never feel like this is a waste of time. It's a fucking time suck, like, but it has to be a time suck in the best way possible. And so we'd already like made ourselves crack up. I'd made a new friend, and it was like this. It was so perfect. It was like, okay, well, if I have to go to Western New York and bring my family, like, our wives are best friends, our kids are the same age. It was like the life fit, and so that's where it was like, yeah, let's dive into the deep end. And Rich had already done some exploratory exercises, and I'll let you get into that. But so that's how it.
How many, before Rich gets into that, I'm curious, how many times since this moment have your respective wives been like, hey, we told you so. We told you it was going to happen. You didn't want friends. And now look at you. You're hanging out in hot tubs. Doing God knows
like, what have we done?
What have we done? Yeah. Like,
why
did you guys do this? Like it's that we run the company. Like, that's it. It is Rich and I and a social media manager that we all, everything's in house. And that's what we it's the only way we have known how to do it. We've applied everything that we know about movie making, producing, creating a story that's organic and real, and that people can connect with, beyond just the celebrity in front of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brands that have the celebrity first, right? And I understand that. Very easy for distributors to sell on the celebrity, put a cardboard cutout of, like, if you're Matthew McConaughey or The Rock, like, fucking, yeah, like, put a cardboard cutout in front of every case stacker, and, like, you're going to get some people getting stuff. I didn't feel like, and obviously I don't have that type of reach, but there are a lot of people who even have, like, real deal reach, but they're not like McConaughey or The Rock, but they're, and it doesn't work unless you really put your full attention and time into it. And so the only thing I could do was kind of help Rich and help really do day-to-day stuff. And I think by doing that, it's really enriched my life. It's enriched my understanding of, like, how business works. It's given me much more empathy for business owners and entrepreneurs and getting people who get out there and they risk a lot of money. And we've put a lot of our own money down. We've not taken on investors because we want to do it our way. That comes with its own challenges. Like we don't have millions of dollars to just go like pay a bunch of people and do this and marketing people do that. And we've done literally, we do the marketing, we do the advertising, we do the packaging design, we do the, distributor management, we do the sales,
packaging, podcast appearances.
Right.
Yeah, all of it. But it's been a blast, because it's like you only get one life, maybe. Hopefully not. I mean, I'd like to do another one, but if you only get one, then like go do something and do it. Don't just be like the person going like, all right, I got some money, I'll throw it in. Like you go do what you do, and then actors like they can be like zombies walking around looking for paychecks. It's like you get strolled into a place and you're like, where's my paycheck?
Really, like thinking back on it now, like I had no idea like what you were going to be as a partner. Like I knew, like I'm obsessed with design and logos, and there's like a running joke in our house, like Tracy's always making fun of me because I'm forever changing the Neighborhood Watch logo. I just have like our production company. I just have like an Illustrator file, and she'll just like bust me like sitting home like playing with the logo. But
what are you watching? Porn?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, we made that.
Like, thank God.
well, I'll toot like Rich, toot Rich's horn. So to go back, there was a company called Baseborn. Well, you talk about Rich because you know you're
yeah, Baseborn. They're like friends of ours, two guys that are designers starting their own design firm. And they're working with me on Neighborhood Watch stuff and started with Lake Hour and helped get us to a certain point, and Wyatt jumped right in, and it was the two of us probably being a little bit too hands-on, and we were in the Photoshop files changing things and constantly doing focus groups and market tests and we were obsessing with this. Like we were traveling around with monitors and photoshopping and on the phone constantly and sharing with our friends and family until they were absolutely sick of looking at designs. But we probably went through 3,000 different.
I'm not even kidding. Like because Rich is really good at. He'll say like, no, I'm not. But like for a layman, I don't know how to do any of this stuff except like a couple apps on my phone where I can get generalized ideas of like, what do we put this here and this here? Like just as a generalized concept.
Is it clip art on Microsoft Word?
Yeah.
Bigger question.
Right.
Kid pics.
Like totally.
Are you still friends with the designers that did this for you? Are you?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Your design sucks. I'm gonna take care of this.
No. Yeah. Right. No. I mean, the reality was, it's like I think we always let everyone know that like, look, this is what we do. Like, this is what I do for a living. I create stories. I create moving images, and in order to create a story, even though it's just a can, like that is a visceral reaction you have as a consumer when you go and you look at packaging. You have to have a visceral reaction of a story that's being told to you before you consume the product. That's the same with movies. That's why one sheets are important. That's why interviews that I'm doing, all these stupid interviews, they're important because you're selling the story of the product. And I am the product in this case. But like Godzilla, you need to find the way they do packaging is fucking crazy. Like they go to the end of the world to try and get the perfect poster and what story does it tell. And so this is what we do. So we were never going to be like, yeah, like go do it. Which yes, drives people crazy, but at the same time, we're good at it. It sounds, but we've made livings doing it. So it's just they're more of the moving image than they are a still image. And so,
if you guys are all right, I'm gonna pull up the the Lake Hour site here because I thought it would be cool to kind of talk through some of the design elements. Oh look. Unintentionally, my face is covered by my logo. That is amazing how that works out.
I thought you were a really good ventriloquist. I was
like, it just is like now I don't even have to be on here. It's just AI. This is deep space version of Adam. But this is the design that after 3,000, you said 3,000 iterations.
Yeah.
Yes, and we ended up partnering with Helms studio down in Austin, Texas, to get us to the finish line. We got to a point where we needed help with language, and there were just so many design pieces with the website and the can, and then the box and the other box sizes and the other box sizes, and our merchandise and point of sale, like all of these things we didn't know we needed. We realized we just needed a studio that had done it before to help guide us through
the process with like the can company of like how to put the image into the file and how does it fit in the line and on the die lines, and like, you know, all of that stuff. Like Helms was incredible and is incredible at handling, like Ryan and Christian at Helms. Like they were unbelievable. Like they taught us so much about how that stuff worked and have guided us in that process, and really came up with, you know, we were originally trending towards something more, like if you look at the blue and the red, the rosemary yuzu, trending more towards like Rich and I wanted like a singular can, like every flavor, but you just read it and there isn't much of a color combination. It was a singular can. We wanted to look like the kind of the Jaws poster was like how we were seeing it. And then Helms was really able to like talk us into the fact that you kind of need color bands and how you're going to do the color bands and why that's important for people to identify and how are we going to do that. And so they convinced us about that, and also to move some of the lettering. We were doing lots of focus groups, and, you know, we trend towards more masculine design. And every time we put up on focus groups, like our more masculine design and our more, you know, I'd call it ubiquitous design than a more feminine design, it would always like skew the way we thought it would skew. And we really didn't want to alienate, like, you know, a lot of drinkers of this are female now. You don't want to alienate half your audience. So we tried to find like sort of an ubiquitous happy medium where it can look really cute in your fridge. It's important to my wife that like when she puts drinks in the fridge that like they look cute and cool, but also feel like you've seen it before, and your dad may have drank it or your grandfather drank it around the campfire, and gives some sort of nostalgic feeling without hitting you over the head with it. And Helms really helped with the font that way, the little water droplets in the A and the E, and just sort of like customizing it and making it, you know,
there's tons of stuff, and like you made my heart sing with all the words you're using, like, you know, dye line and color differentiation and brand aesthetic, and the one thing I'm going back to is what Rich said was we wanted to make something that tasted incredible, or that looked incredible but tasted pretty good. And it's like that's so important because people don't understand that you're in a shop and you got into a market that's saturated with these types of drinks. And this to me is something that I haven't seen done with that. I'm thinking of like White Claw or any type of like seltzers. Their High Noon is another one, you know, like that's kind of like the same demographic, and they're slam, like you said, but this one feels like Hams or Olympia or something like their old Miller Lite can. It's just the real serifed font, the gold rim up top, and the gold lettering. It like all ties back to the idea of nostalgia. Like this is the thing you're trying to sell when you're sitting on the lake, right? Like this is what we want to do. We're just chilling, we're hanging out and having a good time. So it really evokes all those emotions. So yeah, kudos to Helms.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, it's good. You basically said exactly how it's supposed to sound. Now, as far as a real question though, as far as the brand goes, like, because people don't understand that the brand's just more than a logo. Like, and you guys figured that out because you had to go across all the channels to make it work. A lot of the stuff you've done has been very old school, like 70s ads, where even the little Instagram ads and stuff like that. What was your thought and logic behind doing those and presenting it that way?
It was definitely like a feeling that we wanted to create, but we didn't want it to feel like we were trying too hard to make it feel nostalgic or like gimmicky. So it was, yeah, exactly. So it was taking inspiration from all of those pieces, but also allowing for like an iPhone photo to get in there, or, you know, you can see more contemporary elements, and it's about like creating a feeling and not just doing something that's a gimmick or feeling too old school. And a lot of these photos are like that's my granddad right there going by, and like a lot of these pictures are like our friends and family.
Friends and family, yeah, and other people in the company's friends and family, and like everybody that we've poured with, gone to different stores and talked with. Like we both have pretty big families, so like cousin Luke and cousin Will like helped us with the booth, and like it's been very familial, and both of our families sort of operate similarly that way, not using like my family's celebrities, but so not using the celebrity element, like using our real relationships with our cousins and stuff. It makes it fun, and it makes it connect with people that you're telling the story to, because that is the story. And a lot of people forget, like Coors, for instance. I kind of use this example a lot, but like Coors, people kind of would maybe think today, like a Gen Zer would be like, Coors has been around since 1875. It's like, no, Coors started in 1970 by a guy named Pete Coors and his family.
Yeah.
It was real. And a lot of these seltzer drinks that there are seltzer drinks that have started, differently, but they're started with like a ton of like VC money, and or by bigger conglomerate companies, and like of course they're going to be lacking some feeling of authenticity because they're being a little bit like made in a lab, and we just didn't want to do that. Obviously it comes with its like own challenges, but it was like every decision that we made came from a real collaboration between Rich and my brain, with Helms right there with us, offering some great suggestions, stemming from Baseborn's idea, original sort of concept. But it was like a real collaboration of human beings and people. And that was like, this company is about, for us, pushing the idea that let's do it together in real life, not like, everything on a phone and, texting and like put your phone down. Right. Lake hour. Right. I love it.
Yeah, people can see past your bullshit, man. So what are you gonna say, Adam?
Oh no, I had one packaging question that I'll go back up here. I wanted to get down to. So you go to you get all this design, everything. You've talked to all the people who really matter, but then it comes down to, okay, we have to get this product made.
Yes.
And we have to buy are these printed cans, like direct printed cans, or are they shrink sleeves over the cans?
These are direct printed cans. Working with CanWorks in Austin. No way we were ever going to do a sleeve. Like people were trying to talk us into that. And it's just like, we are excited for the day when we can actually print on the aluminum, like, the more classic version, but the prints are a good Band-Aid for now. And we were also we tried a bunch of different print houses and really fell in love with Eric and the CanWorks team in Austin.
They did an awesome job.
They just got us.
Yeah, were you surprised when you went to go? So let me just make sure, because you said two things that I was curious about. So there's not like a shrink sleeve over the can, right? It's actually like ink is going on to the can.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Were you surprised at how many cans you had to buy in order to get that to happen? Because I don't live in a whole lot of worlds, but the Denver Nuggets and packaging, and there was a big increase on like minimum order quantities for printed cans.
So that happened during COVID because cans went through the roof.
Yeah.
And now there's a pullback, and it
wasn't as bad as you thought.
Yeah, it's easier.
Was it like 80,000 cans per 80,000 cans per flavor or something? It wasn't as bad.
It wasn't crazy. It wasn't as bad as some of the other ones that are like 200, like a truckload for each SKU is like. We'd be sitting with 1 million cans, and we're just not there yet of, being able to meet that quantity. But there are some really great companies that will work with you if you're looking to do this, because CanWorks is one of them. Obviously, you're going to pay a lot more for your can when it's lower quantities than what you're buying when you're doing Ardagh, Ball, or Crown or something. But
I just remember CanWorks is great too.
And I'll say, Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh wow.
I have this whole box of cans.
Oh hell yeah. Oh man. See, I would just sit at your house and geek out for like an hour looking at
they were
those.
printing out like all these different versions for us. Like they were so incredible. Like we went
crazy.
so
we
many.
went so many.
This one was pretty close to being a can at one point.
Oh,
Like this
yeah.
you can see like the Jaws inspiration there for sure.
Yeah,
And we've got all these in the hopper, so it's like we're always kind of like we love all of them.
that didn't feel grounded though. That didn't feel
Right.
like
Exactly. So like it wasn't coming together in the exact right way, but all of these ones that we look back on, we're like, oh, that'd be cool for like a specific flavor, a limited time.
We had like a deadline. It was like we had like I can't remember what it was, but it was like if we wanted to get this first order, it was like by May 23rd we had to lock in the design, and we kept changing and throwing out new ideas right to the finish line. And I remember I was down in Florida looking at a Campbell's soup can, and I did like a really rough mock-up of this one with like the yellow in the middle there, and it was like a very Campbell's soup inspired. And Wyatt, I think it was your dad or your brother was like, oh, the gold circle should be the sun rising over like the mountains.
My brother
yeah. That's how that
and like
came to be.
And then oh, this is kind of a fun thing. So then we're like, we were kind of like not knowing what the color, like we wanted like the color, like we wanted to see the color. And I don't have a photo with me, but on a keychain, a key holder next to my parents' garage, there's an old picture. It's like how do I explain it? It's a key holder. So you put your keys on each peg, but above the keys is like a setting of loons in a lake. But the water was like so blue and clear. My dad took a photo and he's like it's like this. And he sent it to me. And I was like, yeah. And then we like tried to recreate that in a way for the bottom band. And then also like putting those little ripples in, those were a little, kind of difficult to figure out, but there's little ripples in the water, and those are like a sheen. So they shine through. So when you get when the light hits it the right way, it looks like the water is rippling. We wanted to add some movement to it. These are just the mock-ups. So you can see there in the water, those little ripples, those are actually like when the real can, like a sheen. So they're shiny. Just a little texture. Stephen Noble did the.
He's bad. I know. Yeah, he's an amazing illustrator.
The best. Yeah,
he's the best. Done like everything in the world.
He was like the illustrations are so tiny on there because initially it was going to be. I wonder. Actually, can I share my screen? Is that possible? I don't know if this is.
I don't know.
We're going to figure it out.
This is the first for the.
Well, it's obvious you guys are not passionate about this at all because this is produced using
not at all. Oh, and so, Rich, do you have like one of our cans there?
Yes, yeah.
That's a BCB. Oh, this is another fun story. So we get to BCB with Brooklyn. Oh, look.
This is like some of the initial Stephen Noble illustrations. So this is really early on.
That was the first.
Dude.
That was the first,
It was also
that's what I was
going to be called Lake Water
from Stephen Noble. That's
yeah. So we were gonna have each can with like a different illustration in this style. So it'd be like a fisherman, and we mocked up like the float planes, and then this would be like a fisherman version. We loved this one for a long time.
Like, what does it say? What does it mean? It was just like nostalgia, but we couldn't, it didn't really make sense.
Yeah, so like
this is so cool.
Yeah, different mock-ups.
Noble did.
Yeah.
By the way,
then we went down a path. This is my dad fishing.
If you're listening to this podcast on Apple or Spotify or wherever, make sure that you go catch the visual. You got to watch the video version of this podcast.
I forgot. Yeah,
up on the YouTubes, because this is incredible. It's totally worth it. Mostly because I'm like a mix of Matthew McConaughey and The Rock, and I get used all the time for it.
And I once sat in a hot tub with a friend of mine and drank. That's
yeah.
So you can see. So what if you're listening? What you can see is like we really try to do the Jaws poster in a way. That's my grandfather's float plane. He was the first float plane pilot in Maine. He flew liquor for Al Capone, And it was like, oh, like let's bring some history of that in there. And the float plane, it's romantic, it's cool, but it's skewed very male. And we kind of kept trying it, but we moved away from it eventually because it was just too male. You know, we wanted it to appeal to women as well. And these are like, you know, Bush was also one.
This is like at the finish line. This is where Helms was maybe going to quit. We started sending these options like a couple days before the deadline.
And they were like, wait, okay, hold on. Like, let's have a call. And they were like, you guys are crazy. You're fun to work with, but you're insane people. We need to like.
Yeah, this is very Bush inspired.
But anyway, like
it was so fun.
We did end up putting our grandfather's float plane on the can. The box, which we can talk about, is we went to the ends of the earth to try and figure out how to make that work. And Helms was really, really, really important at that, like getting the lake hour sign to land on blue so you could see it from like we want you to be able to see it from a mile away. That's really important. We want you to be able to see lake hour from a mile away. So, by
the way, I need to connect you guys up with this group. So this is it's a Bush Light packaging, awesome. But you put together a fish and then you mount it. Like you put this together out of the packaging from the Bush Light.
Awesome.
And you mount it on your wall. Like I've got a moose head, and then they just sent me this this mountable fish. So you guys need to make that happen. That would be great. This box would be perfect as like an assemblable, you know, deer head, or in this case, you know, because it's a lake hour.
If we had anybody smart enough or paid anybody in the company, we'd definitely, if we had any employees.
I hear your employees are fairly lazy, but so this package is definitely the assorted pack, right? Because there's all 4 flavors.
Yeah.
Do you have any of? Okay, I guess we're getting sidetracked because we're also running on time. But do you have any solo flavors packaging?
Yes.
Okay. We do. The other thing too, you guys really should come to the Bay Area, like Wyatt and Pete when you are Rich when you have some time. See, I want to call you Rodney Pete, and I just have to remember it's Rich. So when you guys have some time, you should come over to the Bay Area because there's so many natural grocers. There's so many places just like in a 40 or 50 mile radius where you can hand sell this in and people would buy it for sure.
Yeah, we're going very. Advice has been go slow. Don't try and like blow it out of the water immediately. With all, you know, a lot of people I guess make that mistake, and we've like listened to everybody. We don't do this for a living, which has been part of our you know, success. So we've stayed out of California until we have like a real plan.
It's selfish reasons for myself because I'm in Santa Cruz. Mainly, I just want you to come to Santa Cruz and go to like 2 grocers here, and that's it.
Done.
Yeah,
so you can see like there's the float plane is over here.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
And then this is the house I live in now. Really tiny Stephen Noble illustrations. My great grandparents' house, my grandma's, and then Wyatt's family house right there. And then this is my uncle fishing right there. Cool. So yeah, we have little nods.
One of the great things about these cans is that it feels nostalgic, but it also tells you a bit of a story too while you're at it. So when people pull something in their hand, you want them to like examine it. You want them to look at it like, okay, the first thing is to pick it up. Then after they're drinking it, after about their 4th or 5th in the hot tub, they're looking at it and they say, wow, this is cool. Look at this little house, or look at this and look at that. And they spin the can and they get involved with it. And it's also another experience while you're drinking, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's what we really wanted that feeling to come through. So like that was, you know, all the way down to the copy on the side there. You know, we really wanted it to be us. So everything on it is us, and that's why obviously we're passionate about it, because you know we spent so much time doing it, but it really is a reflection of like who Rich and I are in a weird way.
It's awesome.
That's incredible.
It's awesome.
I'm realizing that somebody, I think cousin Rob, accidentally like deleted a bunch of the stuff in our Dropbox. There's like so many folders missing right now. I'm like having a full-on meltdown over here.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Live on the People of Packaging podcast, we're finding out.
Yeah.
Right.
No, Rob, you've ruined everything.
Okay, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so this is the 4-pack.
That's the 4-pack.
Yeah.
That's so cool. By the way, I was in Chicago, and there's a guy there who's been in the packaging industry for 30 years, and he's been collecting packaging from around the world, and is opening a packaging museum, and has, I mean, like these types of assets, just like you can see, you know, butter packaging over the years and how to graphics change. And
that's very cool.
He's got a whole wall of like lard cans, which you wouldn't think would be really incredible to look at, but it's like, but what was cool about it is he said somebody thought this packaging was like worth it to keep for this amount of time. And you know, he said, and you don't see a whole lot of plastic because we are, I think, attracted to glass and aluminum in terms of that nostalgic kind of feel. You know, not just the graphics. Sorry, Kirk, but also, you know, the actual material has a nostalgia to it. You know, holding that aluminum can is. People
don't save plain craft paper bags for 30 years. They save beautiful artwork. It just happens to be under.
Yeah.
So don't give me that, Adam.
yeah, I like that.
Fine. The artists are the best. Us people that make it are the worst. Whatever.
We looked at a lot of sardine cans. There was like some cool like sardine cans.
Oh yeah.
I just found this too. That's good.
Yeah, I work at the Monterey Bay Aquarium on Cannery Row, and there's always just like these throwbacks to nostalgia and old canning places, since it is an old canning factory, and it's just really cool to go down that whole avenue, the way the type was formed, and which is what the first can you showed with a large pictographic. It's like this beautifully laid out illustration with this serif type and everything else. It really reminded me of that. So that makes sense that you were studying those old sardine cans.
Yeah. And they just feel so like hand done. This was like a contact sheet that we made of just like things that we were referencing out in the world. Just stumbling on it live as we're going things. Yeah.
It's like a design-gasm.
Yeah, exactly. Bud Light too. We tried doing some Bud Light versions. They're like, it's just so classic. That is like the most iconic. Wait, here's some of the sardine cans.
Yep. Very cool.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we don't care about packaging at all over here at Lake Hour.
Yeah.
I was to like go back to one of the first things that we said though. We realized when developing the flavors that we actually had to make it taste good if we were going to want to sell it and to stand behind it, because we had you know some versions that didn't taste great to start, and when we'd give it to our friends and family, they think of something like a little salty or something. It was we realized very important to make it taste good also.
That was as much as the packaging, you know, the packaging also has to reflect the taste in a way. It's like the story has to all work and it's all fit together. So, you know, the idea of our packaging being nostalgic, like easy to digest, it's always been there. We didn't want to make like all of a sudden you drink it and you're like, oh Jesus, like this is like sweet, or like this is strong, or it needed to be subtle and like easy drinking, like the can, like the vibe of us. And so we spent as much time on the flavoring, which honestly at first I was like, I don't know, just make it pretty good, you know, like and then we started doing it, we both realized like, wait a second, it's got to to be great. Like
I can't imagine, based on how much you put into the design, that you'd be like, yeah, we don't really care about the flavor.
Right.
And as I'm a mid 40s person who can no longer drink beer because I got gout. That's an old, like, I realized I was old when I got gout. You know, I really resonated with the, like, yes, I like just like a nice light drink that I cannot feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go work out for 15 hours because my metabolism isn't there. So something that tastes really good. You know, what was that like? Tastes great, less filling, that sort of, I forget who did that one, but
so I also have a question. This went quickly. So December, Wyatt's on his bed crying, and I wish Rich would call me. And Rich calls him and says, hey, do you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah. So by May, you had to have a final decision because for production runs of, especially when you're running formulations, you need to have the cans done so they have a certain time. And every production house for your product gives you a deadline. If you miss the deadline, you're fucked. Sometimes you're out 6 months. Sometimes you're out 2 weeks. You don't know. So when did you actually have your first can done? From December to what month? Do you remember?
We had our first I mean, we were so up against it was crazy. I mean, like, it was insane. We were so up against it.
It was, it must have been our first actual like production run was the end of May. So we came up with the time. Yeah, like that was actually, we had to have our 90,000 cans of each flavor done by end of May. I think it was like May 20 something was our
Where were they produced?
First run. The beverages?
Yeah, where they filled?
In Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had to have them made in Austin and then shipped to Pennsylvania, but it was
but I don't think we
quick
filled,
turnaround.
And I think like as soon as they got the cans, for the most part, we filled, and like that was June.
Wow,
that's crazy.
So here's the thing, people listening, don't do that. Don't ever think you can make a product in 5 months. It's very hard, and we had a lot of processes.
Rich more so than I.
Who's doing construction over there?
Rich's house.
What the hell, man?
Remodeling his bathroom.
I have lots of things happening right now.
That's his way of the wrap it up button. Like, wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hired a construction worker to come over to start hanging nails.
Sorry, right? Go ahead.
Actually, I hired the construction worker to be like, we are just like your budget for Lake Hour. We are way over time.
But yeah, we have experience. Like, when you do a movie, doing a movie is a fucking miracle. The fact that any movie gets done, like when you actually are the producer of a film, like Rich is, and I've produced a couple films and been involved in development. Like, once you say go, like once you hit the button and someone says go, like you start running at 1,000 miles an hour. And when they're like, walk, don't run, it's a marathon. Like, you sprint the marathon. That's how you make a movie. And so we're only used to kind of doing it like that, driving everybody crazy as we went along, because it was like, I don't care what we got to that point where it was like, I don't care what the deadlines are. I don't care what you can do and what you can't do. We have to get it done. And that's what we would say to ourselves. And when you do a movie, it's like, you said May 1st. Like, if you don't get it by May 1st in a movie and you said May 1st, like, you're not working on the movie anymore.
Right.
It is the most cutthroat industry in the world when it comes to actual production. What you see on TV and the glitz and the glamour, like, that's the one thing. When you produce a movie and you see how that all works, it's like, it's wild. And unless you are a crazy person like Rich and I are, then you just you wouldn't do it, but it's kind of the only way we know how to operate. So it was like sprint, go, get it to the finish line. And weirdly now the selling process, like, that's easier. Like, it's harder in a way, because you have to sell the product and there's some business challenges and money's tight and all that. But like, it's a little easier once you have the product to go sell a real thing, which normally Rich and I, when we go sell a product, like, you've got nothing. When you go into a room with an executive and you're asking them to spend $40 million on something, you're literally selling air. You're selling an idea. Like, nothing is there. You can't see anything. Maybe there's a couple, like, decks that you can look at with some pictures put around and a log line and stuff. But when they say, yeah, like, we'll buy it, they don't know what the hell they're buying. They're buying air.
It's similar, like, in the editing process, you don't know what the audience is actually going to like. Like, everybody has an opinion and you can do focus groups and all of that stuff. But with like a beverage, you watch them take a sip and from their face immediately if they like it or not. And that instant gratification is really nice.
Yeah, totally.
That's cool.
Well, I would love to
go on for hours.
Yeah,
we could legitimately keep talking for quite a while. For Wyatt and Rich, so that Kirk and I also one time were hanging out in a hot tub And we came up with this product, Weenus Lube, which is
that's my nickname. That's the nickname my brother gave me for his kid. For his kids call me Weenus.
Well, then, Wyatt, I will happily send you a tube, an 8-ounce tube of Weenus Lube, which is a lotion for dry elbows.
Bring it to the next friend trip, Wyatt.
Yeah, there you go.
The next hot tub.
There you go. It sounds like you might need it. Well, guys, I want to, obviously be respectful of everyone's time. Currently, Lake Hour is for sale online, right? So you can ship to almost every state. Utah, get your act together and just let people ship alcohol here. We're going to buy it anyways. We're just going to drive to Wyoming. You may as well just let it happen. If you don't live in Utah, right, you can buy it at lakehour.com. And then what states are you currently in? People can go pick this up.
We're in New York, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, New Jersey, Georgia, and Georgia. Yeah.
Got it.
Soon to be, hopefully, soon, we're talking right now about Minnesota and Wisconsin. We want to do it right there because obviously that's a great place for Lake Hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're talking with partners there and some retailers, and we want to enter that.
Got it. Well,
Awesome.
somebody's getting sawed into at Rich's house.
Yeah, those are bodies being cut up in the back over here.
Yeah,
Nothing up my sleeve.
Al Capone's alcohol delivery didn't go so hot. So
yeah. I was thinking when Kirk, you mentioned that about like the timeline. I think I'd have to look at the numbers exactly, but I think within a year of us sitting in the hot tub and joking about this idea, a year from that day, we had made and sold around 200,000 cans.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's really crazy.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations to you both. This is obviously the most successful thing either one of you have ever done. But you know, I mean, all joking aside, how cool would that be, right? Like you get to have this brand that you're obviously both so passionate about. You put so much into not just the packaging, but the tastes and the flavors, and it was really refreshing. Obviously the brand is refreshing, but it was really refreshing to talk with both of you, and just you can't fake that sort of passion, and I think it certainly comes through. So I know I'm
an
really
actor.
What's that? You're an actor? Yeah. Dang it! I've been tricked again. Foiled by the actors.
He's reading his teleprompter and cue cards.
Yeah.
I'm
now
Wyatt Russell. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Kirk. Did you have
you guys
any last minute things to add here?
No, man, this is awesome, and you guys need to come on my podcast.
Let's do it.
My and Andy.
Yeah, we'd love to.
All right,
thank you so much for joining.
They geek out way more about design than I do. I just care about printing trash. All right.
Bye, guys.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
You guys so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, they didn't wait. Well,
They did not.
I usually say to people like, "Hey, hold on, we're gonna say bye real quick, then I'll do a proper goodbye, just to make sure that they know." But anyway, well, it's fun.
It's still recording.
No way.
It's not letting me end the recording.
Well, hopefully, does it get what